Kelly Cole giving instructions to her Northeastern Husky squad. They trail the Dayton Flyers 21-17 inside the Cabot Center. Dan McLoughlin, Alex Thomas, glad to have you with us. Well, Alex, the bright spot for Northeastern thus far has been the stroke of Shannon Todd from beyond the arc.
Yeah, Shannon's been really good today. We take a look at some of the shots she made. That one, you just can't leave her wide open from that shooting position. She'll hit it every time. A little more contested there. And then this is the one in the corner coming up here, Dan, that was really impressive to me. She had some traffic in front of her, had to quickly set and make the shot, was able to knock it down. 9 points for her. And the Huskies defense starting to get going, a scoring drought of a little over 4.5 minutes here for Dayton.
Kelly Cole wanted a charge to be called there. She doesn't get it. And now the call will go on a reach on Shannon Todd. She had 20 against this Dayton team last year. Picking up right where she left off.
Huskies defense been much better here in the second quarter of action.
Bradshaw runs the point. Perez, Scaife, contested three, in and out. Loose ball grabbed by Kendall Currents. Clark wants it. Dayton wanted an up and down there. Hill driving, puts it up and in, and the foul. That's 6 for Alexis Hill with a chance to make it 7. That's number 2 on Perez. We'll get another look at it. This is what Kelly Cole wants to see out of Alexis Hill. Physical presence in the paint, not afraid to go to the basket. She's been great here on second chance points, on gritty plays in and down low. Doesn't make her free throw, rebound by Whitehead.
And that rebound puts Dayton up 18-17. So give the Huskies a lot of credit, Dan. They've been good on the boards here in the second, now 18 apiece.
And it's Stella Clark that grabs it. Has Katie May on the wing, instead drives herself. Clark up and out. Rebound by Bradshaw. Clark just 1 of 7 from the field. Whalen for 3. Doesn't go. Tipped by Todd, snared by Currents. Flung on ahead. Alexis Hill's got daylight and banks in the layup.
Whatever adjustments Coach Cole made at the midway point of that first half, so in the commercial breakdown between the first and second quarter, it has worked. The Huskies have been much better defensively here. They've been really strong on the boards, and they have been converting their chances.
Erin Whalen has her second 3 of the contest, breaks the tie.
Bit of a defensive breakdown by the Huskies. Whalen was wide open from a good shooting position.
Dayton under 4th-year head coach Shauna Green. They won the Atlantic 10 in 2017. Made the NCAA tournament 6 straight years from 2010 to 2015. That predates her. But all of those, except for 2012, were as an at-large. A very deep women's basketball Atlantic 10. George Washington, one of the powerhouses. They found a way into the tournament. They'd love to get the auto bid, and winning games like this certainly helps their candidacy. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the conference tournament. More often than not, for every team except Dayton, it feels like, in this conference. So it's Dayton by 3, little under 2 to play in the second quarter. Katie May puts it up from range, too strong. Tipped by Stella Clark. And they'll draw the foul on the rebound. It's on Arian Bradshaw. There is Shannon Todd. 9 points, all on 3-pointers in the first quarter.
2019 preseason All-CAA, honorable mention. As you can see there with the graphic on our screen, it's Stella Clark going to go to the line here, Dan, and try and cut this down to a 1-point game.
She's 50% from the line this year, but that is a tiny sample size. Clark very good from the charity stripe.
And interesting here, she's only got 2 points so far in this game in the first half. That is not usual for her, averaging 12.5 points per game, well under that average today.
Well, misses the first free throw. Not usual for her this year by any means. Go back to her debut, November 10th, 2017 against BU. She had 16, and they all came in the second half. So she'll be heard from before this one's up. Goes 1 of 2 from the line there. Giacone finds Scaife. Whalen calling for it on the left wing. She's got it. Corner three. Doesn't go. Clark the board. She's tripped up by Whitehead. Incidental contact, and Scaife will dribble it back the other way. Scaife to the basket. And that foul's going to go on Northeastern. Currents was in her lane.
Well, the Huskies really aren't happy there, Dan, because they thought there should have been a trip when Stella Clark was taken down, and then thought that should have been an offensive foul. We'll get another look at it here on a potential charge. You can see why they're a little bit upset.
Yeah, the feet weren't set. Yeah, both McCartney and Whitehead. The call goes on McCartney as opposed to Currents, who was the one that took the greater tumble. It's the second on the freshman from the Bronx. Had 4 points in 6 minutes in her collegiate debut against South Dakota. It was a packed house here at the Cabot Center. A midday, weekday tip-off against the top mid-major team coming into the season in the country.
Give this program a lot of credit, too, really testing themselves with these out-of-conference games. That's going to help them when they get into CAA play.
Clark lowers the shoulder, and she's fouled. And Stella Clark is better at drawing fouls when she drives without any intent to shoot than most players you'll see. With Northeastern well into the bonus, Clark will go back to the charity stripe. Goes on Jenna Giacone. Clark's good from the line. So it's Dayton by 3. And with the way they started, you'd think they'd like to be up by a little bit more. Clark gets her 5th point. Already has 4 rebounds, which eclipses her season average at 3.5. And remember, that season average was tied for a team lead. Jenna Giacone for 3 short. Rebound by McCartney. They're going to get her for the foul. That's number 3 on the freshman. Check that. That's actually on Katie May for over the back behind the play. And from a team foul perspective, you'll take that, I guess, because May only has 1, but nevertheless, Northeastern's bench, Whitney Edwards, Mandy Pennewell, and especially Kelly Cole, furious. So Whalen gets the first to go.
It's a big spot here for Northeastern in the final. About what now here, Dan? 55 seconds left in this quarter. You don't want to give Dayton a 5 to 7, 5 to 8 point lead heading into the half. You've done a really good job here in this second quarter of cutting into the deficit you built in the first. Have to do a good job here in the final minute of cutting it down. You're down 4 here. This is a big possession offensively. Even if you just get 2, you can go into the half down by a pair.
Shot clock, half of the game clock when this possession started. Clark, ricocheted off the thigh of Whitehead. It stays with the Huskies. Currents drives. Errant shot, rebounded by Dayton. Here comes Whalen driving on Todd, gets it to go, and now the Huskies, they're down by 6, but they can hold for last shot. Whalen into double figures with 10.
Pretty much the exact opposite of ideal that we were talking about here. Just Currents misses on one end and an easy bucket for Whalen at the other.
Currents down low, she's double teamed and she walks. So now Dayton, with a 6-point lead, will now get the opportunity for last shot themselves. They'll have to push it pretty quickly against the Northeastern, call it a half press. They have Clark and Currents up in the backcourt. It's Jenna Giacone. Clark goes tumbling. Giacone feeds down low. Whalen at the buzzer. It counts!
Well, that's all created, Dan, off the aggressive defense that the Flyers play in the paint. They forced to travel on Currents down low, and Whalen, who's had a really good first half. We didn't talk too much about her in the open of this broadcast, but boy, oh boy, was Whalen a monster in that second quarter, and a nightmare for the Huskies in the final minute. Dan, this game was tied in the second quarter. The Huskies did a lot of things well, but now they find themselves trailing by 8 heading into the half.
A 6-0 run for Dayton in the final minute. Aaron Whalen, 12 points off the bench for the Flyers. Northeastern down by 8 at home on FloHoops.